What's up, YouTube? I started mountain biking 30 years ago in Pennsylvania. And in this video, we're gonna go back to PA and see how the trails have changed. Welcome to Pennsylvania! Pennsylvania. It means Penn's Woods. It's beautiful, super green, full of trees, and has the Appalachian Mountains running through it. The last time I rode in Pennsylvania, it was the 90s. I was in high school, and a fully rigid giant ATX 760 like this one, pretty much top of the line. Nowadays, I live in California, where we've got trails that peak damn near 10,000 feet. However, the highest elevation in Pennsylvania is just a hair over 3,200. So let's just say I wasn't too concerned about climbing.
Oh yeah, that sucks. Not a biker ride without a hike bike.
However, the one thing I remembered about the trails back home is rocks. On the other hand, the thing I forgot about is the trees are jerks. My uncle met up with me to show me around the trail system, and as we pedaled out of the parking lot, I was eager to revisit the trails that locked me into a lifelong obsession with riding bikes. There's so many things that play into why I love riding bikes. Some of it's the challenge, some of it's the adventure, some of it's the therapy. That day, we were both riding for all of those reasons. This is me and my grandmother about 30 years ago, and the real reason that I was in Pennsylvania wasn't to ride bikes. It was, unfortunately, to lay her to rest. Whether or not we said it out loud, this ride meant something more. It's one of those things that I cherish most about riding bikes. When you're out there, there's nothing else in the world that you can think of. It's just you, your bike, the trail, and if you're lucky, the people you're with. So with nothing on our minds but spinning the wheels, we started pedaling right into what might as well have been a time machine for me.
All right.
Rocky Ridge was just how I remembered. Pretty XC, but if it's in your backyard, it has some nuggets sprinkled throughout the small trail system. However, the day before, that was a totally different story.
Man, I'll tell you, yesterday I thought I was gonna be like Sasquatch food or something. I was out there in the middle of nowhere. Freaking sun went down.
Yeah, about that. Have you ever had one of those rides where it seems like everything went wrong? This was one of them. Welcome to Michaux State Forest. It's pretty close to the Appalachian Trail and is a huge trail network. I found it on Trail Forks and basically just drove to where I saw black trails. Getting to the top of the hill was pretty chill.
If this is the way that the elevation on this climb is gonna be, not mad about that. Nothing I enjoy more than being slightly hungover and trying not to breathe gnats.
Once I got to the top, that's when things started to go awry.
With that being said, throw my elbow pads on because I don't know what the hell I'm into, and we'll see what happens.
Apparently I clicked something on my GoPro to turn it into a potato cam, so bear with me. As I ventured into the woods, I found out quickly that Trail Forks doesn't have all the trails listed, and the GPS, it's consistently off with the heavy tree cover.
Where the f am I?
Pretty stark contrast to when I was riding Rocky Ridge with my uncle. It's just outside of town and definitely not remote like Michaux. Rocky Ridge is full of little techie rocks and root sections, but also has some good flow that would be great for beginners, but is fun enough to keep an intermediate rider stoked.
A little exposure.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, playful.
With a name like Rocky Ridge, you gotta have some rocks. I enjoyed the obstacles that were sprinkled here and there, and it reminded me of a conversation I had with a friend recently. I told him the reason I liked slow tech is because that's the stuff I learned how to ride mountain bikes on. Although I don't think fast was an option on a fully rigid bike with no dropper. Something that stood out to me were the trail markers painted on the trees. We don't see that in Cali.
These are called what?
Those are like blazes.
Blaze.
Yeah.
So different colors, mean different things?
Yeah, most of the time the blazes are rectangular.
Yeah, I saw a yellow square earlier.
Yeah.
And that's what I saw a bunch of those yesterday.
Like Appalachian Trail has the white blazes, like up and down the whole coast, it's white blazes.
The more you know.
I passed the Appalachian Trail on my way to Michaux, and sure enough, my uncle was right. White rectangles, right there. Although Rocky Ridge was fun, it definitely didn't have the types of challenges that I found at Michaux.
You're climbing that? All right.
I have plenty of experience with big rock rolls. It's something that I do on the regular where I live. However, way out in the boonies, alone, with no cell signal, I kept trying to keep myself reined in. I will say that I came to this trail system thinking I was going to be able to handle anything it could throw at me. And once I popped into the more difficult trails, I got humbled real quick.
They're rolling that. Whew. I don't think I want to do this by myself. So right now I'm being humbled because that's legitimately tacky up in here. Guess that's a drop, not a roller. All right. Whew. All right. Whew. Ooh. I've done rolls like that one back there at home, but man, being somewhere really far from home and by myself, I feel like now's probably not the best time to go ahead and prove how big my balls are. Whew.
With my first run accidentally filmed in potato cam, I wanted some redemption. My luck struck again on what was probably a fun DH section, and aside from constantly being about 10 seconds away from being completely lost, I managed to find myself on a much faster trail.
Right on.
You know, the kind that bumps up the stoke, gets your confidence high.
This one's cool.
However, Michaux was like, hold my beer.
How did I manage that? Oh my God. This is hilarious. I lost my shoe. Oh.
Sitting here editing, I have no clue what went wrong there. It really makes no sense. I had this weird sense of security that I could read the trail, but with all the leaf cover and the way that the woods are compared to where I normally ride in California, it really like made everything more difficult for me. I didn't understand what was under the leaves. It was harder for me to track the trail. And I don't know, maybe I was just a little bit overconfident, but I think all of those things together really added up to what was about to happen. The speeds on this trail weren't as fast or as steep as I would expect on a black trail. And honestly, the tech was going along just fine, so my confidence was back to overly inflated, and I really was just ignoring how the rest of the day had been going.
Serious freaking wheel stoppers around here. Oh, like that. Newfound respect for the East Coast trails. I have not been back here in so long. You know, and you start to build this like, oh, well, we ride here, these trails are hard or sick or freaking intense. And it's a different kind of riding everywhere you go. it's definitely a little bit of a reality check when you're like, okay, this is what these guys call blue, and this is pretty techie. If that's anything to show for what we're about to get into, it's about to get rowdy. So let's do it. Let's be rowdy. This one doesn't seem as hectic as that one across the street I did earlier, but that may be just speaking too soon. There's definitely some really weird chunk over there. Ouch. Ow. Oh my God.
Yes, my shoe fell off again. I'm definitely starting to notice a little bit of a pattern here, and unfortunately, it is just not registering with me.
That was a reality check. Freaking helmet's shot. I don't know if you guys can see that. Apparently it did what it was supposed to.
Right about now is a good time to mention that Cali Protectives has a free crash replacement, which I'm about to cash in on.
If you're in need of a helmet, I cannot speak highly enough about Cali Protectives. I interviewed the founder of Cali a while ago, and Brad is hands down the most passionate person about rider safety that I've ever met in my entire life. I always joke that Cali's more interested in rider safety than they are in making money. It's that easy to pack up your broken helmet, ship it back to them, and get a free crash replacement. So if you're thinking about getting a new helmet, swing over to Cali Protectives. Use code CALIBIKER20 and save 20%. Wait a second, while we're talking about safety, this ride made me realize that I'm kind of gambling with my life when I'm out there in the middle of nowhere. So I reached out to Garmin. They sent me this inReach Mini 2. It's basically a satellite device that'll send your GPS location to first responders or your family members, as well as let you send text messages. If you want to see some more information about this, hit subscribe and it'll be in a future video.
Just because something isn't remote doesn't mean it can't be challenging. Trail systems like Rocky Ridge are important to building your skill set. Being able to hone your skills on stuff that isn't at the edge of your ability is key to becoming a better rider. Riding the smaller tech sections and punchy climbs at Rocky Ridge helped build my confidence back after having it pretty much defeated. With my body feeling like it got hit by a truck, it was easy to be timid at the beginning of the ride. But as the day moved forward, all the little wins, they were enjoyable. It made me reflect on getting into mountain biking on these trails all those years ago.
It's crazy to think about riding this stuff back in the day and having just fully rigid seat locked up in its place.
If you're riding in PA, a dropper is a must. I was constantly putting my seat up and down because of the way the trail changes.
What's up here? All right. I think I made my own line there. All right, Michaux, you got some proper chunk.
I'm not gonna lie though, I love the perseverance and determination that a hard ride gives you. While in Michaux, I had to pull together some mental fortitude to finish out the trail.
Okay. Like all balance and core. Good Lord. Whew.
When it popped me out by the car, I made yet another crappy decision. I dropped off my hip pack, charged my dying phone for a few minutes, and realized I had no signal when trying to see what time the sun would set.
So at this point, I have one potato cam run and one run of me losing my shoes, not once, but twice. So what else could I possibly do? I figured I would head back up top, get one more run so I can get some really cool shots to make this video rad, and of course, nothing could go wrong.
We're gonna see how dark it gets, because this is gonna be a no glasses run. It's already, the sun's like down. I'm racing the clock, so let's stop talking about it. Try to build some confidence back from earlier. Oh, I forgot to show you guys my belly. I'll have to check that out in a minute. Look at that. Just look at it. Oh my God. Definitely felt like I was a kebab there for a minute.
Don't think that looked that bad? Well, a few days later, this is how it ended up. So yeah, after everything that happened that day, I somehow truly believed that everything from here on out was going to be completely okay.
Definitely should have lights.
Well, the next thing you know, I'm in the woods, trying to ride one-handed, and I'm holding my dying cell phone for a smidgen of light and just hoping like hell that I can actually make it back to my car and end this day.
Oh, yes. Woo-hoo! Goodness gracious. Big list of dumb things to do. This was one of them.
At the end of the day, this trip taught me a few things. Number one, we don't live forever. So make sure that you enjoy the time that you have with the people that you care about. The second thing is, you're only as good as the trails that you ride. And places are different, so don't take your skill set for granted, even if the place is not too far from home.
So there you have it, the 30-year reunion. I had a blast in Pennsylvania riding. It was so much fun. Those of you guys that call this local, good stuff, man. Really enjoyed myself. Can't wait to come back. Do me one favor though, before you leave. Remember, it only takes a bike to be a biker. Get out and be one.